Hello viewers, Super GT back on Gran Turismo Sport. So this game has seen a big update, 1.13, adds a new infield layout to the Blue Moon Raceway. Here it is, with this really loud annoying aeroplane at the start of each race. And this is where the infield section begins, and I'd imagine there's going to be plenty of trouble on that apex right there. And we also have this hairpin, where I can just visualise plenty of things happening here. We're going to find out in this video, of course. And here is the grid. Wait, who's that in 8th place? Let's have... Oh, it's just the pig. Yeah, that's who it is. So then, let's get going. I've opted for the Porsche. This is Group 3 racing, of course, then. Gone for the 911. So then, let's get things underway. You can see the circuit layout on the top right. So it still utilises two of the big banks on the track, but then you do cut in. Actually, no, it doesn't utilise this banking here, as you do actually cut in. You still have a long left-hander. So going deep into that corner to kind of defend, but then I get a poor exit. And I think it's the Mazda's going to get a run into... This is it then. The first corner as we all go wide as a big group. And look at this, somehow I kind of filter my way through and I gain out of all of that. So from about 8th or 9th, and then everyone kind of goes off and I'm the first one out of the trouble. So that could have gone worse. But what it does mean, as I go really deep into the hairpin, is that there's a massive gap now ahead and the Mazda's right back on me instantly. This little sequence here is kind of awkward actually. A couple of really tight corners in a row, and they're not actually that easy to get right. The final corner onto the banking, taken a little bit too quickly, grazing our rear quarter panel on the wall. We're not going to lose too much speed as a result. So then onto the main straight. In 6th place we got the Mazda in close attention as we cross the line to begin the second lap of 7. Into this first corner, it's a strange one to get right, this one, as you come in off the oval banking there, and it can unsettle the car if you go in too deep, and then run out wide on the exit. And this corner here is really difficult, as I think is proven to be the case with someone ahead, as we do have a yellow flag. There it is, our first victim on his own actually, kind of lost it on his own I presume. Maybe someone pushed him off, you can't quite tell at this moment. So then into the hairpin. Look for that shadow, you're pretty much just braking just before the shadow of the bridge, and that kind of gets you into the corner quite nicely. This one, another hairpin, and it's very tempting to go in early, but you really want to get that late apex and get better drive out towards the final corner here. And this one, you just kind of want to get close to the wall on the inside, despite the curb layout on the inside of that corner. And once again, running really wide onto the wall. So 5th place at the end of lap number 2, and we're going to skip a tiny bit ahead to the beginning of lap number 3. Now I'm not quite sure what this guy was doing, but he was slowing right down, and he's going to let me go through into 4th place. I go very wide there, perhaps foreshadowing what might happen later on in the video, but through the apex into the infield section, winding around towards the hairpins. It looks like that Frenchman in the BMW's kind of got his act together now and wants to stay behind, so okay. Interesting stuff. You're never quite sure what's going on if someone's just going to slow down and wait right behind you. But we will continue and gracefully accept the free position. So then with 4 laps to go into the final corner. And are we going to take it nicely? Yes we are. This time not touching the ball on the exit. Onto the oval banking section. And I think I've got enough of a gap to not get drafted too much. So just going to take the normal line down this long straight into the first corner. What is the lap time going to be? A 108.6. I think if we can do a mid-7, we're going quite well. So going a little bit early to the first corner. We can accelerate out quite early because it does open up quite a lot on the exit. Looking behind briefly, you see the pack really close in attention. Close in attendance, sorry, I couldn't quite get my right word out there. Through the apex, hooking it up well, We're going to have another look behind. Not quite, but they are within 3 temps. He is within 3 temps. There he is, briefly looking behind. Very close indeed. He's going to look up the inside. I've given him a car width. And then a bit of a tussle on the exit. And into the next corner. Leave this guy space. And I'm going to get a penalty. So this is the beginning of the penalty system being displayed here. And in fact, it's going to go up again. So I've got 2 penalties there. And to be honest, yeah, really not sure why I should have got them. There was contact involved, of course, but give me back the old system, because that would not have come down as a penalty. And yeah, so I've got 4 seconds worth of penalty to kind of contend with here, whilst trying to get back past these guys. So this Frenchman has kindly backed off, given me a position, and then given me a penalty by nudging me slightly wide when I gave him room. But anyway, we're going to try and get on with it and just simply deal with it. There's not much I can do. As he slides very wide, big moment from the Frenchman. He just get back his together. We have a Spaniard in a Lamborghini, sorry no, a BMW as well, just up ahead. So a BMW, then a Porsche, and then a BMW, then a Porsche here. So a 4-way battle for 3rd place. I'd imagine that the Spaniard at the front of this train got a penalty, hence why he dropped back so much, because you do have to serve your penalties, or you don't have to, but sometimes you have to serve your penalty straight away, otherwise it will start building up. So there is a good reason to kind of stop straight away rather than wait for the end of the race. So this is lap number 6. It's getting very close ahead. That group of 3 are very close to each other. And I'm just kind of dropping off a little bit as I didn't have a good end to lap number 5. But a good couple of corners and a bit of battling ahead, and that gap's going to come right back down again into the hairpin. He's going to punt the Porsche on. I'm going to slide up the inside, take back 5th place, and then he's going to slow right down. I imagine he got a penalty. So this is somehow working in the favour of the people that dive up the inside with a punt, and then the other person seems to get a penalty. So it's weird how this is working out, but that is how it is. Grazing my favourite wall on the exit of the final corner, and the gap has gone right up to 4.2 seconds very quickly behind, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. In fact, right at the end I almost catch up with this guy, but then I'm going to have to brake right at the end and just get rid of that penalty. So thank God for those braking licence tests where you have to brake before the line, as it's good practice for when you have to get rid of a penalty. So finishing 4th and getting a Fortnite invitation, which I don't want to... Oh, he's done another one. So actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll play Fortnite. Thank you. There's the handshake. Handshake of doom as I finish in 4th place, just off the podium. And here we go then. I'm a beginner. Can I send you a friend request? There we go. Yeah, top banter as always. As we move on to race number 2, I've gone for the Chevrolet C7R. Going to try out a range of vehicles in this one, as for some annoying reason I was just bouncing off the limiter in 1st gear as I go into the start of the race. So I'm going to lose loads of momentum already and a position. So down from 7th down to 8th, threatening to lose another position to this Toyota. Bit of contact mid-apex, almost into the side of the Viper, just about managed to hold off. So they're settling into 8th place, into the infield. Here we go, the Viper's very wide. In fact, the Spaniard ahead, we saw him in the previous race in that lime green livery, very wide as well. Yellow flag, someone else is wide, so plenty of incidents. So a poor start, but then back up a couple of positions into 5th. Can we go about catching? Well, I'll catch up with him as he slides very wide, almost receiving contact, which is my biggest fear now through this hairpin section, as it seems to give me a penalty rather than the person who gives the contact. Well, we get through in 4th, big gap to 3rd, mind you, but I'll take the position. Oh no, that is not gone well at all. Grazing 2 wheels on the grass, it just pulls me off wide. As rude as that sounds, but I'm going to lose a couple of positions down into 7th. So then, that was a mixed bag, it must be said, about lap 1. Up and down all over the place, so ending up exactly where we started, funnily enough. Into the first corner, goes defensive into the turn itself, and we're just going to try and hold this guy off by running wide, keeping the momentum. Is it quite going to happen? He is there, but he just settles in behind. Clever decision into the apex, and we're through that corner okay. It's actually really hard. This Viper's going to back right off, and imagine he got a penalty. So this is a new dynamic that we have to kind of watch out for now, because people are getting penalties. You kind of have to serve them straight away. I'm up the inside, I'm going to punt him wide, and I don't get a penalty. Okay, fair enough. I mean, he did keep his position. He was just a bit clumsy. That's what it was. But with this new dynamic of people getting penalties, they are going to slow down straight away. As sometimes on the racing lines, you do have to be very careful about that. So not only we have people slowing down on the finish line, you might get someone just slowing down right in front of you on the actual racing line. So it's a new dynamic that we're going to have to watch out for. So then a straight line speed battle between a Corvette and a Beetle. But I'm only just about going to get the upper hand on this occasion. Into the first corner, up into 5th place. And once again with a massive gap up ahead. But we might get a bit of deja vu, as perhaps someone might slow down and just give me a position. But it looks like I'm going to be the one doing slowing down at the moment. A couple of poor corners in a row. That's going to put me on the back foot as the Frenchman just goes past the slow Beetle into the hairpin for the 3rd time. Very deep, and you're going to look for that late apex. Kind of turn across, and this guy's just going to punt me wide. Okay, fair enough. I didn't give him much room, but I'm going to get a penalty for that, which is really frustrating. I'm going to serve it straight away. Move off the apex. So that was really strange. He kind of dived up the inside. I didn't really see him until too late, and then he kind of gave me a second swipe of contact, and then I get the penalty, funnily enough. But that's how it goes in this game now. We're going to catch back up to the Beetle and just drive really wide. Really clumsy error. Really stupid driving from me. And this is what happens when you get not much practice on a track and you just kind of... Well, basically I'm just trying to learn the track as I go. So I think sometimes the best way to learn the track is just to do some races on it, some live situations. So a lot of the time I'm going to lose out. So 4th place in my first race wasn't too bad, as this brick comes flying in on the Italian. No mercy at all. It comes through into 9th place, and I'm going to cut him back as he goes wide. Bit of instant karma. Another yellow flag. What are we looking at through here? The Beetle very wide, back up into 8th place. Such a topsy-turvy race. Positions gained and lost everywhere. And at the end of the race I finished in 7th. So where I started, so I went up and down all over the place, but ended up exactly in the position I started. And there's a disappointment of walking away from that car, which was the Corvette, as I now try out the Toyota. Admittedly I haven't actually driven this car very much at all, if at all, and you can immediately spot that it's fairly slow in a straight line, but the one thing I do notice is it's very good around the corners. That's a really clumsy first corner from me. I'm going to look up the inside. I'm going to get a penalty, so I'm going to have to back off here and resume in 4th. So to be honest, I mean, I got a penalty for that. Yes, it was very clumsy, but it's not like he lost anything out of it, really. I mean, he got the position, I let him in, and I backed off. So I'm not sure a penalty was quite warranted, but anyway, we're going to get on with it. BMW up the inside, almost spearheads the side of the sister BMW in 3rd, but doesn't quite manage it. Into the hairpin, and we're going to get through here okay. So 3 BMWs out front, 2 Spaniards followed by a Dutchman into the final corner. Once again grazing that wall, going to lose plenty of momentum, as you can see there, looking behind briefly. And Fernando Alonso, actual Fernando Alonso, is playing Gran Turismo Sport. There he is. He's going to go through into 4th place. So then I lost 2 positions like that. Not ideal at all. I mean, you're always going to want to look to go forwards in a race, ideally, and this occasion going backwards only so far. But 1st and 2nd, you may just spot in the distance are battling, so it's always a good sign. We could still catch up yet, and we still have most of the race to go. Going very wide, grazing the grass. Myself and Fernando Alonso having a bit of an episode there. He's going to go very wide again, and I'm going to get a run on him as he kind of runs me wide a little bit, but I'm going to get through into 4th. So the group of 3 ahead, very close in attendance with each other, and I'm going to be analysing that battle, hoping that they lose time on each other. So still that 2-second penalty to contend with, and it seems that through the slow corners it doesn't really go down very much. Now this is what I was talking about, some people slowing down on the racing line, so I was kind of misjudged, I misjudged that one brutally, and Fernando Alonso is going to give me a nice boost onto the back straight. I'll get a penalty for that though, so he kind of thinks I brake checked him, which is, well, it's not fair enough because I didn't brake check him, I just got slow off the wall. So I'm going to get a penalty for that, which is, yeah, a weird call, but we're going to run with it once again. We've had to deal with that a fair few times so far in our experience of this track, or the new penalty system. Into the infield, following the Spaniard. The Spaniard in the lead's got a decent margin now. He's a good 4 seconds ahead, so that's a good gap to have at this kind of stage of the race, and he'll be looking to build on it. The Spaniard ahead are feeling it necessary to go defensive. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to look around the outside, having a brief look behind to make sure we don't get punted wide. So then a nice train forming here. Going to run wide, and then Fernando Alonso is going to come in for a lunge of the century, and I'm going to get a penalty for that, which is really silly. And this is the moment when I kind of go off the rails a little bit, because I'm going to go, I've got a 6-second penalty now to deal with, which is really frustrating, and because it's a flashing slow down, that does mean I need to slow down and serve it now, because the penalty is going to go up and up and up. 37 seconds, 54 seconds, 57 seconds. I've got the fastest lap of the race at this point here, but I've got also the biggest penalty of the race. In fact, it's going to kick me out of the race because I've got such a big penalty. Fernando Alonso once again coming in for another very dirty move, and it increases the penalty again over a minute at that point. So okay, that's enough. I'm going to slow down here. And this is the point where I think I'm going to drive to that cliff and contemplate my life once again. No, should I just jump off and end it all? Because this is kind of ridiculous now. So about 8 years later, we pull away. I'm about 2 seconds away from getting kicked out of the race for having such a big penalty. But there we go. We're in last place now. We're in last place, 13th of 30, on the last lap of 7. And I'm going to overtake this McLaren. I mean, to be honest, that's a poor car choice from him because the McLaren really isn't that great. And I'm going to go through up the inside. Is he gonna punt me wide and give me a 10-minute penalty? No, he's not. Okay, this guy's quite nice. Thank you, mate. And well, there we go. Very disappointing. Very disappointing to come across the line to finish in 12th. And there it is. Confirmation of our poor race as our driver looks on in shame at the Toyota, but to be honest, it wasn't the Toyota's fault. So what I'm going to do here is go and download a new paint job, because obviously getting a new paint job gives you 10 times extra luck. It's a well-known, well-documented fact in motorsport. So we're going to go for this nice Zent livery, and here's the grid. I'm in 2nd this time. So creeping up that grid, you can see each race I started a little bit further up, which always helps. Now this is the little practice session here. Now we've got a bit of a yellow flag situation, so overtaking is prohibited. But you know, this is just practice, so check this out, guys. Move of the century, up the inside. Oh yeah, what a move. That's how you get it done. No contact at all. Speed 5 here. Hello, let's have a clean race. Good luck. And I think I'm going to need some good luck, because I really haven't had much so far. So we're going to see if we can finally get that elusive victory around the Blue Moon Infield circuit in the Toyota once again. So I've gone for the same car. Let's see if we can do it. Into the first corner. The Spaniard taking a good line. I'm very wide, but you can run out wide on the exit, so that wide line doesn't penalise you too much. Into the infield section. How's it going to go? For the Spaniard, not very well. He's going to drive very wide and spin out. That is the kind of good luck that I need. That's going to set me off very well. A bit of a slide, but I mustn't get complacent here, because the Swede is still right on my tail. You don't see many Swedes playing this game, but there happens to be one hot in attention right behind. There he is. He's not going to let me have this one very easily. So then through the apex of the second to last, or actually no, it's the third to last corner. And then this, I consider this the final corner, really, because this here, the banking is just flat out, and it doesn't really, I don't really treat it as a turn. I'm going to go very narrow of the exit of the corner, just to really minimise the drag. Well, no, not minimise the drag, to maximise the guy behind me's drag, as he can't get in my slipstream, where he opts not to come back across the track to get into my slipstream. So this is the primary weakness of this car, the straight line speed. So that's where I expect to lose out. But it's through this section here where I should be okay. The car very planted indeed, very easy to control, and much more so than the Porsche. The Porsche seems to have really good acceleration, but it can be quite tricky without traction control. So you do get a bit of a slide on every now and then. Into the hairpin. Got the fastest lap of the race so far, which I ought to have done from second, and then first place just kind of bundled himself wide. So crossing the line first, and I should get that fastest lap. Now it's a good position to be in first place, because as I cross the line at the end of the second lap, I should get the new fastest lap, because it's a flying lap essentially. You're not going from a slower speed. So as I cross the line, I'll get that fastest lap, the new fastest lap, and then if anyone beats that fastest lap straight away, I know that I'm being beaten by someone. If no one beats it, then I know that I'm the fastest person on the track for that last time around. So crossing the line for a 108.1, and as most of the pack have crossed the line by now, then it looks like I was definitely the quickest on the track for that last lap. So I'm definitely the quickest person so far. Fastest 2 laps in the race, which is boding well, as I'm now nearly 2 seconds ahead, and this is the final lap, so the gap kind of stayed really constant. In fact, the pole man, the Spaniard in second now, did manage to get back into second, so respect to him for fighting his way back, although you never know, he might have just punted everyone off. But let's be positive. Let's just say he drove a fine race and overtook everyone exquisitely with pure gentlemanly style, and got back into a respectable second place. But he is 4 seconds down on me, so I have plenty of time to play with here. And I didn't get a penalty, which is good to see. In fact, well, no one was really close enough to give me one, so good news on that front. But this penalty system, I want you to let me know your thoughts, because in my experience, and it's not just these races that you've seen, which is my experience, I've done more races than we've seen, and it is very weird, the new penalty system, giving me very questionable penalties, as we've seen many examples in this race so far. But we are going to win the race, which is a positive. There we go. Almost getting the fastest lap, a 107.6. The Spaniard behind was just a bit quicker, less than a tenth quicker, but I'm happy with the result to win the race. So it took me 4 races, but we got there in the end. So all you've got to do really is just to kind of learn. That first race didn't go too well, or the second race was a lot worse, the third race was very bad. But you kind of got to stay positive and just keep in there, and eventually you'll get a good result. But that is the end of the video, guys. Do let me know your thoughts. Subscribe for plenty more of the same. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.